Hey kids, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have a Chapman Lawmaker, which is a telly type instrument. We're doing a restring and a setup, so let's get to work. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. All right, what's going on with my camera? All right. A little bit that way. Okay, that's fine. Pretty nice guitar. It's got a Seymour Duncan in the bridge position. It's a really simple telly style instrument. Nice binding on it. I don't know if it's real or if it's painted, because that makes me think it's painted. These guitars are manufactured in India. It's called a Lawmaker by Chapman Guitars. Lawmaker Classic, which I'm assuming classic because it's set up like a classic telly. Well, let's get right to it. As always, the first thing we have to check is our neck relief. Ooh, it's got a honking neck on it too, really thick. It's got some beef to it. Nice tummy cut. It's really contoured nicely, and I got to tell you, the build quality is really cool on it. Roasted maple neck. Well, I can live with that. That's perfect. Well, we don't need to adjust that at all. We're putting 10s on it because I think there are 10s on it. Let's make sure. 46, 10. Yeah. All right. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So we know the neck relief is good. Let's see what's going on. One thing I noticed right off is the pickup, the bridge pickup is a little tilty. It's not been adjusted correctly, but we'll get to that. Where are we? Yeah, way too high. Oh man, the string action's all over the road. It's like the jack-o'-lantern. It's like rotten teeth. One's high, one's low, one's really low, one's really high. Yeah, gotta fix that up. I can put my neck relief tool away. I don't think we need to adjust that. Most of our adjustments are going to be made right down here because the neck relief is actually perfect. I also noticed, which I'm going to do right now before I get too involved, there's plastic sticking out here and underneath these, and actually coming out underneath the plate. I am not digging on that at all. Let me get that crap out of there. Such a nice guitar, and you got plastic from, I don't know when it was manufactured, sticking out. All right, why are you not wanting to pop out of there? It's stuck. Yeah, little pieces of plastic. That would absolutely drive me bonkers if I owned this guitar. It's a good thing he brought it to 396 Guitars. Uncle Blackjack just fixed that. And I see some coming out from under here, but I'm going to screw this back down first, and then we'll gingerly pull the knobs off. It doesn't seem like the fitment is great here. Oh, it's deeper here than there. Okay. Yeah. boutique guitar. These are not cheap instruments, and I can tell you the build quality is pretty damn good on them. Okay, yeah, that's nice. It's just the way it sits down in there. There's a higher lip here, and it kind of recesses down in where this side doesn't. It's more flush. All right, let me get my special tool out. My special tool. Because there's a big piece of plastic sticking out here, and if there is, yeah, there's one there too. So, I can't deal. And there it is. There's a little bit right there. OCD much? Yeah. It's the little things that drive me absolutely batty. It's the little things. You know what they say. I wonder how many people have worked on this guitar and every one of the techs looked past that and said, nah, screw that on. Makes you wonder. Static electricity. Static electricity. Aren't you guys loving this? Tune into 396 Guitars and watch Uncle Blackjack pull off plastic from underneath the volume knob. No, I'm not gonna loosen that up because I already put the plate back down, but none of it will be sticking out anymore, and it won't interfere. I got the last little bit of it pulled out. I had a comment. Special tool. You know, I'm joking. It's just a spoon, but that seems to work the best. I had a comment from a guy. Where do I get that special tool? The kitchen drawer where all your forks and spoons are. How did I miss a piece of plastic over here? Oh, you pain in the ass. There's one little piece of plastic there. Holy cow. No good deed goes unpunished. How did I miss a piece of plastic there? My God. Must have been on the body. You pain in the ass. I promise we're actually going to do a restring and a setup on this once I get done commiserating over all this plastic. You follow? There we go. Okay, I can live with that. Christ, there's some under there too. Oh, for the love of Pete. I'm going to pause. Sorry about that, guys. I got to ask, you guys see all this crap? I just pulled all of that out of there. Just, you know, because I can't leave it. Now, how did the first guy that ever did a setup on this guitar, and clearly it's been set up because the neck relief is okay. How did that tech not pull that crap out of there? that's today's rant. Sorry. It's got really, really nice tuners on it. Open gear, locking. I mean, the build quality on this is really nice, and they did not skimp on parts. Headphones. Get out of the way. Yeah, they did not skimp on gear in this guitar. I think the price point on these is in that boutique, rather pricey. They had way too much string on there, but they did not skimp on any gear and parts. So far, I'm liking what I see. I think it's going to be a really nice player. So you take the tension off the strings, and then you undo the locking part of the tuning machine underneath. Now, when we get to restringing, I'm going to show you again. They had probably 3 or 4 wraps on there, and you don't need that with locking tuners, especially if they're good quality tuners, locking tuners. You just don't need those extra wraps for tuning stability. That's the reason for the locking mechanism. And like I said, these are really nice. Once we do the setup, I'm going to check first fret action, of course. He didn't have any real complaints about playability. It just had been a long time since it has gotten some care, love, and attention. Body through string, which I always get stabbed. Let's see if I can do it without getting stabbed. Got them all. We're putting 10s on this, but before we get to that, these frets are in excellent condition too. So really, at the end of this, all we're doing, we're going to clean it right now. All we're going to do is oil the board. I'm not even going to polish these frets. They're in such pristine condition. I don't want to get after them with anything. They don't need it. And you know me, I love to do that. I want to clean them up. I'm a little curious about why this looks like a jack-o'-lantern as well. I mean, these two are all the way back. These two are all the way forward. One of these is back. One of them's all the way forward. That does not look like proper intonation, but you know me, I'm going to check that. Cleaning. Let's oil the board first, and then we're going to wipe the whole guitar down. And yeah, I'm going to show you all of this today because, well, this is just a basic restring and setup. I'm going to try to get it all in one shot for you. I really dig this. Roasted maple. I use that on all of my basses. I put roasted maple necks. Because they're more stable. Because I'll tell you why. More of the moisture has been baked out of the wood. So moisture is not your friend in wood, even a hardwood, especially when you live in a place like we do here in South Florida. Half of the year it's semi-arid, dry, no humidity, very little rain, lots of sun. And then the other half of the year, it becomes subtropical. Extremely high humidity, and when I say extremely high, I mean 90% humidity and 99 degrees outside. So wood will change. Now, if you take some of the moisture out of the wood, or more moisture out of the wood than would natural drying process would achieve, it makes the wood denser because it's got less moisture in it and less susceptible. And I say less susceptible to climatic and atmospheric changes. You still have to have your instrument checked every once in a while, and I recommend once a year. Have your neck relief checked during a string change by a qualified technician, and they'll know how to adjust accordingly. In this particular instance, and I can't tell you the last time I had a guitar on my bench that's the first measurement I always take, neck relief. What kind of relief do we have in the neck? This is the first one, and since I can't remember when, that did not need a neck adjustment. Now, when we put the new strings on, that could change, even though we're going from 10s to 10s. It might change, but I don't think so. It never happens. Every guitar hits my bench, the first measurement I take is neck relief, and they always need to be adjusted because it seems to be a mystery out there. Most technicians don't even know what the hell they're doing, in my opinion. So you apply the oil and you take it right off in this case, because the fretboard was not in bad condition. It was not super dry. I didn't need to let it sit in there and soak. The last process is I'm going to make sure I buff the top of the frets just with the same cloth to try to get as much of the oil off of there as I can with the clean side. And conversely, I can't remember the last time I had a guitar for a restring and a setup that I didn't need to at least clean and polish the frets to some degree. These are in excellent condition. Now, I haven't played the instrument, and I certainly haven't checked it for high frets, but we will once we get done. Love it. Very nice guitar. Clean up. Again, this guitar hasn't been under somebody's bed with the cat sleeping in the guitar case with it. It's not all gacked out, it's just a little dirty. Just from people touching it and playing it, I'm sure. It's nice to every once in a while get an instrument that's not completely destroyed and I need a tetanus shot after I get done cleaning it or working on it. This one is not that bad at all, but I'm still going to wipe it down and put a little coat of protectant. Because why not? I'm here, I'm doing it. Make it happen, Captain. First you apply it, and then you flip the rag over and use the dry side to just kind of sort of buff it off so you don't leave any streaks. And if it does leave streaks when you get done, just take a dry rag and do it. And when I say rag, I use, this is automotive microfiber. I don't believe in using, these are microfiber too, what you saw me using. But I'm not going to reuse and reuse and reuse and reuse and reuse the same microfiber cloth from one guitar to another. And I'll tell you the main reason why is because you never know when you're going to pick up a little burr or a little piece of metal or something hard from one job to the next, and then you go to clean somebody's guitar and you just put a scratch in the surface of his instrument somewhere. That's why you use these. They're throwaway. They're cheap, they're inexpensive, and they do the job really well. Get them at any auto parts store. Microfiber. So we did the top, we do the sides. Wet. And then dry. And again, if you get done with it and it's got streaks anywhere, well, then we'll have to get another dry, clean one and just wipe the streaks off. Something doesn't look quite right with our output jack. I have to investigate that. Off camera, when I first got this guitar, the first thing I checked, just because I have OCD, I put a screwdriver on the neck bolts to make sure that they were secure, and they were. There were no loose ones. Something on there that doesn't want to come off. All right. Different product. There's something. Oh no, it came off. Never mind. Never mind. Roasted maple. It is the coolest. I mean, it's the best. If you learn anything from today's procedure and talking about guitars, look at that. Look at the character in that wood. Roasted maple. Roasted maple. When it's baked, all character that might have been there and you didn't notice comes out, and it's more dramatic. I dig it. I dig it a lot. $10mm. Check your hardware. It's nice and tight. Yeah, you can live with that. Now's the time to check that stuff when you have the strings off. Make sure our string tree is snug. Yep. Why do I do this stuff? If I don't, who will? Oh, that one's loose. Huh. That one's loose. That's where the rubber hits the road. That's your bridge, and I can tell you with string tension on it, that thing was lifting. That's a tuning stability issue right there. Those two were loose. I'm not digging on that, but if you check it and you pay attention, that problem has been fixed. Okay, strings. I think we're ready to put strings on it. I'm sure I'm going to get more fingerprints on this. It's got really nice bronzed or gold hardware, and it really does set it off. I'm not a fan of that stuff, but you know, they call me Blackjack for a reason, because everything I own is black. But it looks pretty on this guitar. Strings, Ernie balls. We're putting 10s on it. So it's body through. All right, put them all on. Lean it against your shoulder. And put one string at a time through. I see some guys hang the guitar off the side of the bench and fish the strings through. I like it. I do it this way. I put it against my shoulder. That way it can't go anywhere and it can't move. Everything is exposed, the back, the front, the top. Good old Ernie balls. It's the PBR of guitar strings. When I was coming up, I was young, discovering what a nice cold beer was. Pabst Blue Ribbon, a fair beer at a fair price. Well, you can say the same thing about Ernie Ball strings. There's nothing wrong with them. They are a fair string at a fair price. You want to spend $20 on boutique guitar strings? Go ahead if that's what blows your skirt up. Go right ahead, but it's not necessary because, in my opinion, I don't care how much you spend on guitar strings. You change your strings every 6 months, whether it needs it or whether you think it needs it or not, because strings go dead. So, locking tuners. These tuners are actually pretty close together, so I'm going to measure from one tuner to just to where the next tuner starts and cut it right off. Right? Make sure you're pulled up. Insert it. And you don't want any of it protruding through the other side. Okay, just for the love of Pete. There's a timer going off. Stand by. Apologies. It was a timer to remind me to look for an Amazon delivery. I'm waiting for parts to come in. So, locking tuners. You put it through. You snug up the locker on the bottom. And the same rule applies. You want the string to go down underneath the string hole. Just get it up to tension. You're not trying to tune it yet. I'm going to do the rest of them off camera. I'll be right back. All right, so restring. I got them all on. Remember, you just measure to the very next peg, snip it off, feed your string through the machine peg, and just where it comes out, snug up your locker. They do not need to be tight, tight, tight. It just needs to snug up against the string. Don't over tighten them. You can ruin them. They're, for lack of a better term, they're not as stout as you would think. They're a little fragile. Tune up to pitch. Let's see how close I was. Really close. Oh, my ear must be getting better. Get them up to pitch and then stretch. Hold at the first fret and just lightly tug. What that does is it seats it in the saddle and it seats it in the nut slot. Tune back up. Everything should have gone a little flat. Get it back up to pitch. I can already tell this instrument is very stable. Once you've gone all the way through and you're happy, go back and check. Because as you continue to tune each successive string, you're putting more tension on the neck. And usually they'll go a little flat. Hardly at all. Dead on. Dead on. Dead on. Dead on. Yeah, I like this guitar. So we go back, and I just want to check neck relief again, of course, because Different strings can have different tension, and it can affect that. And besides, why not? Check it. Make sure. Double check. It's dead on. It is dead on. So, oddities of all oddities, it did not need a truss rod adjustment. I'm okay with that, as long as it's where it's supposed to be. String height. Too tall. So, let's get to it now. Made in India, that's going to be metric. I bet the farm on it. What does it look like here? I can't tell. Yep. So, all the same rules apply. I want my saddles flat. I want them flat. Focus. God damn it. Focus. I want my saddles flat. They can be higher or lower, but I want them flat to the deck of the guitar. So if you make an adjustment on one side or the other, make sure that they're as level as possible. You don't need to measure it. You just need to eyeball it as you're going along. So this one's too high. We're going to take it down. So if I turn a half a turn on that screw on the saddle, I'm going to do a half a turn on that one and then remeasure. A little bit more. I'm sure my head is in the way. I'm looking for just, I don't want to see 5/64, I want it to be right at it. If you don't see the line, that means it's below 5/64. Because this is a Fender style instrument, I'm going to follow that adjustment pattern as if it were a Fender. Perfect. So 5/64, it's covering the line of 5/64. Not above it, not below it, dead on. Then tune it back up to pitch. Because we lowered it, we effectively dropped the tension on it. And rinse and repeat with every string. Stand by while I do that. We'll be right back. Okay, we're basically in the home stretch. I have my string height exactly where I want it, which is just revealing 5/64 across the radius of the board. So, in other words, every string is at the same height according to where the saddle adjustment is. And that follows and shadows and mirrors the radius of the fretboard. That way, wherever you're fingering or playing on the instrument, the strings are exactly the same height all the way across. I don't know that I don't remember if I did this at the beginning, but I want to do it now. Yeah. So traditionally, they will tell you 23 thousandths for first fret action. I always start at 20 and see where it is. And at 20, it makes literally no sound. It's not interfering with the string. So at 23 thousandths, that is a industry standard for a standard six-string guitar. So we're golden there. He did ask about that, and I usually always check that unless I have no reason I don't have a reason to check it. Intonation is the last thing. Well, we got two last things to do. Is intonation. And I was questioning this because of the staggered nature of the way the saddles are, but aha, sharp. The D is sharp. And that one is farther forward than any of them. So when it's sharp, if you're checking your intonation at the 12th and successive up farther, if you're sharp, that means the distance between your saddle and your nut takeoff points, where the string lives there, is too short. If you're flat, that means that distance is too far away. And the way you adjust that is right back there like I just did. And you double check. It's better. Yeah, that D saddle was way far forward, and so is the G right next to it. And I'm pretty certain that one's going to need to be adjusted as well. Dead on. Yep, sharp as hell. Alright, I take back what I said. Whoever worked on this before had the neck relief set right. They didn't even attempt to check the intonation. Tedious, but you have to do it. I know this video is getting a little long. But it is what it is. Still slightly sharp. Still, even more. And there, that's intonation on the G. B and E are fine. So, yeah, I knew there was something going on. Now it looks a little bit better. It looked like a toothless grin. Some of them were high and low and way high. Yeah, that's not intonation separate. You get to the point where you can look at them almost and notice right away that something is not correct. So, that's it. It should be pretty stable. So this one's going to set overnight like I let them all. If I have the opportunity and I'm able to do that, I like to let them set overnight. But this one's done. It's done, and it's quite a nice instrument. I love it. It's a beauty. I'm going to cut this video off here. Intonation, everything is set. The only thing that was okay on it was the neck relief. And yeah, that's cool. Whatever. Pickup height. Way too close. Way too close. You know, this is, I say it all the time, this is one of the most overlooked and ignored adjustments, and it's important. It's extremely important. Magnetic field. You can't be too far away and you can't be too close. If you're too far away, you're losing power. If you're too close, you're choking the magnetic field and your pickup won't work properly. It's 1/8 on the bass side. And 3/32 on the treble side. And yeah, it's critical. Yeah, pickup height, whatever. The closer it is, the more power you'll have. That's bullshit, and it doesn't work like that. On this type where you have 3 adjustments, make sure your pickup is staying level as you're adjusting it. Perfect. I like that. They were way too close. Too close, of course. Of course. Of course. Oh, I went too far on both of them. If your guitar tech isn't doing this sort of thing, get a better guitar tech. Get a better guitar tech. Come on, you. I went too far. I adjusted too far down. Alright, this thing's now starting to be a pain in the ass. It doesn't want to cooperate. Perfect. We're done. I can say I'm happy with that now. Neck relief, string height, intonation, pickup height, and my pickup is nice and level. The lipstick one can only go up or down. It doesn't, you don't have to level it. Really, really nice, well-built guitars. Chapman, what is it? Lawmaker. Look them up. Buy one. They're awesome. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. We'll talk soon. And remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and please share. See ya.